And according to the security guard who viewed the scene, the victim was warned not to venture into the runoff. But the pressure to get to school early surely pushed him to struggle, finding his way before meeting his Waterloo. Faced with the unfortunate incident, parents, for fear of the unknown, suggest to school administrators.
Comprenant ce qui est sorti dans la bouche de l'enfant ce matin, je suis en retard. Il faudrait mieux que dans nos établissements, dans nos lycées, qu'on ne mette plus trop la pression aux enfants quand il a plu. Parce que c'est cette pression-là qui, n'est-ce pas, a permis que nous perdons un enfant de entre 11 ans et 12 ans ce matin. C'était très tragique.
This is coming barely 3 weeks after another child lost his life in a similar situation at the Biamasilak neighborhood.
More tragic news, and this time from Marwa in the far north region, where 3 children apparently drowned in the river Dengues at the weekend. According to information collected for us by reporter Ambo Gladys, the kids went to have a bath in the river after all day working in their farm.
The victims have been identified as Duga Maimuna, 13, Gasiso, 9, both from the same family, and a boy named Tong Tong. The tragedy occurred in the evening of Saturday, November 2nd, 2024, in the Kongola Gubeyo area of Marwa, when the children had reportedly left their homes to work in the fields. According to local accounts, after completing their task, the children entered River Dengues, possibly to cleanse themselves before returning home. It was during this time that the fatal incident took place. When the children failed to return home, their families launched an immediate search. After hours of unsuccessful efforts, the parents turned to local authorities. Radio announcements were made, and both traditional leaders and police stations were notified in a desperate attempt to locate the missing children. It wasn't until Sunday, November 3rd, that a local resident made the discovery. He spotted a body floating in River Dengue, prompting the community to mobilize. Residents of Kongola Gubeyo came together to retrieve the body, and after a thorough search, the bodies of the 2 other children were recovered. The incident has left the community in deep mourning as families and neighbors are still to come to terms with the loss of the 3 children. The authorities have yet to release an official statement regarding the circumstances of the incident, but preliminary reports suggest the children may have slipped or become trapped in the waters.
To religion now, a group of Christians of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, calling itself the Defenders of the Truth, is accusing the current management of what he calls gross-scale corruption and assorted malpractices. Granting a news conference at the weekend in Douala, they called on pastors of the same church, the PCC, to stand up and denounce what they term wickedness and poor leadership. Here's Ndi Maureen.
They are 4 in number, but representing a larger group within the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon, PCC. They held a press conference in Douala, November 2, where they strongly condemned the alleged moral decline within the church leadership, identifying themselves as the defenders of truth.
We think that they have gone out of the norms of the church.
The group voiced their concerns over what they describe as rampant corruption and unethical practices infiltrating the PCC.
We in the pews, we can manage to come to a certain level in the selections. We are praying.
The defenders of truth have called on pastors who uphold strong moral values to confront these challenges, urging them to stand for the truth and address what they perceive as a culture of wickedness and poor leadership that is gradually undermining the PCC.
There's no need living in a life that is punctuated with a lot of wickedness and lovelessness. So we are praying that this election should come out properly. It should come out with the winning persons who should really be the winning persons.
In recent weeks, the group has published 4 open letters on social media expressing their frustration over the church direction. They accuse outgoing leaders of manipulating the system to retain power by influencing other pastors.
There cannot be peace in the church without justice. That's why we're saying the pews should take over their church. And it might get to the time when, if they are not able to, if the disrespect continues, then they should be able to say, no, okay, we are funding this church.
The defenders of truth are advocating for free, fair and transparent elections in November and demands that new church leaders emerge through honest votes rather than alleged interference from former leadership.
And now, following an October 16 meeting between beer retailers and distributors across the country, new measures came into effect on November 1 with the introduction of 600 francs CFA as collection fees per crate of 12 bottles of beer. The additional fees intended to cover collection and transportation costs. The measures have, however, sparked discontent within the ranks of takeaway depot owners who say they face increasing operational expenses as a result. Across Douala, bottle prices have soared to 700 and 800 francs CFA, significantly above the recommended 650 francs CFA. Consumers are also grumbling, and consumer rights defenders are calling for vigilance and the respect of the prices homologated by the Ministry of Trade. We shall be coming back in greater detail on this developing story. By announcing his resignation. In a heartfelt message, Amadou Ahidjo urged Cameroonians to support his successor, and that's the then Prime Minister Paul Biya. As Beatrice Ngamo now recalls from the capital Yaoundé, Ahidjo's smooth transition of power has been etched in the annals of Cameroon's history. Here's a report.
Today, November 4th, 2024, marks 42 years after the resignation of the first president of the United Republic of Cameroon, Amadou Ahidjo. It was during the 8 p.m. French language news over Radio Cameroon on that fateful day in 1982 that the president made the pronouncement, informing the people he is resigning from function as president.
J'ai décidé de démissionner de mes fonctions de président de la République unie du Cameroun.
That it will take effect from Saturday the 6th of November, 1982 at 10 p.m. And so it was. Amadou Babatura Ahidjo did not just end there. He went further to salute the many years of trust and assistance that helped him accomplish daunting tasks at the head of the state. Then came this appeal, Ahidjo calling on Cameroonians to give their full-hearted support to his constitutional heir, Paul Biya.
Mon successeur constitutionnel, Monsieur Paul Biya.
Then, adding he merits the confidence of Cameroon both at home and abroad. He then ushered his fellow countrymen to remain a united people, patriotic, hardworking, dignified and respected, appealing the Almighty God to continue to protect and provide the necessary aid in the development of Cameroon in peace and justice.
Do you solemnly swear before God and man to devote all your efforts to preserving, protecting, and defending the Constitution and the unity, integrity, and independence of Cameroon fatherland? I do so swear.
Announcement that carried nothing on his decision. This ushered a new era in Cameroon, the period of Paul Biya's president, what Cameroon is living for 42 years now. Cameroonian.
And now the deteriorating state of roads across Cameroon's commercial hub, Douala, is increasingly a pressing issue. Between the iconic Carrefour des Églises and the Central Market, for example, heavy rains have exacerbated the situation, creating potholes that not only hinder smooth traffic flow, but also increase the risk of accidents, as we hear from you, Sherif Asale.
It is midday. Traffic grinds almost to a halt along the Deux Églises Marché central stretch of road, one of many deteriorating roads in Douala.
Blocked everywhere. There's no way here.
Once smooth, the stretch is now riddled with large potholes and patches of exposed sand, making each trip a challenge for drivers and pedestrians alike. Commuters describe navigating these roads as a test of patience, with delays stretching out for what should be a short trip.
As a truck pusher, We suffer a lot. We don't understand what is wrong everywhere, even in a center town like Douala. Everywhere roads are very bad. It impacts in our activities.
At rush hour, conditions worsen as bumper-to-bumper traffic creates additional strain on drivers and local businesses.
It is not good for a country like ours to be in that type of situation. Sometimes even those who... I fell one day with Kako here.
With roads in disrepair, both commuters and shop owners feel the impact, reporting slower business and a great risk of accident due to hazardous conditions. Douala's road crisis shows no sign of easing as daily commutes continue to grow more difficult and dangerous.
And as insecurity continues escalating across Douala, concerns are mounting regarding the implementation of mixed police and gendarmerie control posts. More than 3 weeks after the announcements, residents are still wondering and waiting and asking what's happening to such tangible.
3 weeks after the senior divisional office in some key locations in Douala, they still remain visibly absent. At the Shell New Beram, forces are operating independently without the coordinated efforts that were expected.
There are no permanent control posts in New Bell, but several mixed operations during the day and night. These patrols sometimes use bikes during their checks, ensuring the neighborhood's safety. The senior divisional officer has announced plans for fixed control posts in some areas. While I believe the initiative is still in progress, I haven't seen any yet. A fixed control post cannot be hidden once operational. It will be visible to all.
Moving on to the Deido and Dokoti roundabouts, the situation remains unchanged. Although the checkpoints announced have yet to materialize, residents reported that vehicle searches and driver identifications are ongoing, albeit inconsistently.
Police officers occasionally carry out document checks in Dokoti, often starting around 9 p.m. However, these checks do not happen every day. Security personnel are visible throughout the city. This morning, I saw them carrying out checks in Aqua, though I haven't seen them in Dokoti. They once stopped my vehicle and checked passengers and inspected my booth in Peka 21. It's a good initiative.
Further examination revealed that various high-risk areas in the city remain vulnerable. Key locations such as Carrefour Yassa, Totan Kolbon, Texaco Aeroport, Carrefour Peka 14, Carrefour Basson, Lendi, Rond-Point Maitu, Axe-Lube Panda, Marché des Fleurs and Carrefour Music in Bonaberry have been identified as crime-prone areas. In a press release dated October 9, 2024, Vuri SDO Siliak Marinvogo outlined these 18 hotspots and promised reinforced measures to combat the escalating crime wave in the city of Douala.
And now the rise in domestic violence leading to broken homes is a major cause for concern within the community in Douala. As Kajan Henry Atembe now tells us, the community leaders have embarked on a venture to try and reverse and why not halt the trends.
Different clans of the Com Kingdom of the Northwest region of Cameroon, resident in Douala, converged on November 3 at their cultural hall where they listened to some tips on family cohesion.
We had to take this opportunity presented to us by WOFAC, that's One Fundong Ark of Gold, on the sensitization on family harmony with the experts from the Ministry of Social Affairs and the Ministry of Women's Empowerment and Family.
Shattered by the 8-year-old Anglophone crisis, families have been torn apart. Healing wounds and rebuilding cohesion is of paramount interest to this community.
What I expect of the people of Com, particularly those who are based here in Douala, is that the information that we have shared with them, or what they have learned today, we expect that there should be some kind of restitution. Firstly, as they go back to their families and in their different groups.
It is the first project of the social workers from the Ministry of Social Affairs and of the Women Empowerment and the Promotion of the Family to impact on this community.
I really appreciate
the lesson because our women, the men and the youths, we've learned a lot and I will really appreciate.
According to the traditional authorities, this is a vital tool in building cohesion as the woman will have a front role. Another aspect is equally to get children involved in decision making so that they should know why certain decisions are taken on their behalf.
Of course, that was Kejan Henry Atembe reporting and not Junior Hussein, like you could read in the legends. And beyond Cameroon now, and as the clock narrowly ticks down to what will become one of the most consequential elections in U.S. history, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are locked in a fierce battle to mobilize voters in a deeply divided electorate, with both candidates portraying this moment as critical for the future of America. Their campaigns are racing against time to secure every last vote before Tuesday's showdown, which promises to shape the country's political landscape. Of course, we'll be coming back in detail to the outcome of those elections when the results will be made known, probably tomorrow, Tuesday evening. And that's how we replace the lead on this edition of the 6:15 p.m. news. Stay involved, stay engaged, and get back in touch with us if you have any ideas and suggestions. See you tomorrow.